It's time to return to Middle-earth as I review The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey. Hi everyone, it's me Ben and welcome to Entertainment Zone. I'm here for my review of The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey. It's the first entry in Peter Jackson's Hobbit trilogy. It was originally going to be 2 movies, now 3. Let's get the ball rolling on this review. I should point out I saw the movie on Friday, but I simply just haven't had a chance to get around to filming the review. I was very impressed with the movie. I'm a big fan of the Hobbit. You know, I read the book at a young age. I think it was around 10 or 11 when I read The Hobbit. And it's a lot lighter in tone than The Lord of the Rings, and this does transpire into the movie version as well. I think, you know, is it as good as The Lord of the Rings? No, it isn't. It's a very, very good movie. Is it as good as The Lord of the Rings? No. But then again, they are 2 very different stories. Even though they're both in the world of Tolkien, they're 2 very different stories, you know. And Jackson's adaptation was really getting it right. The cast was excellent. I should point out the cast was excellent. A lot of new faces, obviously, playing all the new dwarves. I should really point out how good Richard Armitage was as Thor in Oakenshield. He was perfect casting for that role. I remember him playing Guy of Gisborne in Robin Hood here in the UK. It wasn't a series I was stuck on, but he was one of the standout performers in that. And again, in here, he's one of the standout performances. The character of Radagast the Brown, who I believe was featured in the Lord of the Rings books, but not in the movie. He wasn't in the movies, but I believe he was in the books of the Lord of the Rings and not the Hobbit book. But you decided to use him here. And for me, Radagast, played by former Doctor Who Sylvester McCoy, who I've met, was brilliant. You know. Some people have compared him to Jar Jar Binks, which I think is really unfair. I really think he kind of stole the show as well. He did excellent. And it's great to see other British actors involved in the movie, such as Barry Humphries as the voice of the Goblin King, and James Nesbitt as well as one of the dwarves. He was very good. But of course, props have to go to Martin Freeman. He really was born to play Bilbo, and you can believe him as young Bilbo. You know, the way he plays Watson in Sherlock, you can see why he was cast as Bilbo, and you know, he plays the socially awkward Bilbo very well, and you can see him ultimately becoming the Ian Holm version of Bilbo. He really did an excellent job. And I hope this film really shows the world what Martin Freeman is made of, because he's a great actor, and I think he could be a lot like Benedict Cumberbatch, his Sherlock co-star, and propelled into being a very well-known actor. And of course, it was great to see Ian McKellen back as Gandalf. There were a few other returning faces who I'll mention later on. The pace of the movie, for any critics out there saying, you know, oh, it dragged on, it's too long, no, not at all. For just under 3 hours, this movie flew by. It really flew by. Where it ended was, if I remember correctly, about 2/3 of the way through the book. My biggest issue now is this movie was done well, and if it was 2 movies, as it was originally intended, I would have ended it here. The fact that it is now 3 movies worries me, because what's remaining in the book, I'm not sure how Peter Jackson is going to split that up into 2 more, but I guess we'll find out. I saw the movie in 3D. The 3D was good, but I think it could have been utilised further. I also saw the movie in, I think, 24 frames per second. I don't think I was fortunate enough to see it in 48 frames per second, so I can't really comment on the hoopla surrounding that at the moment. Anyone who has seen it, though, in 48 frames per second, please let me know, as I'd be really interested to hear your take on that. As an adaptation, it was pretty faithful. Jackson has swapped things around, there's things from the appendices now in the book, and some stuff from Lord of the Rings. But he's also taken liberty of some things and changed some of Tolkien's work to fit the Hobbit. For example, the Pale Orc Azog in the book was killed 100 years before the Hobbit by a different character, but he features prominently as a villain in this movie. Questions that you may ask without spoiling it too much: does Smaug the dragon appear? The answer is only very briefly. You never see him clearly full, you only see parts of him. We don't hear him speak either, again voiced by Benedict Cumberbatch, but he will be appearing in the next 2 movies. So all in all, I did enjoy the movie. As a Hobbit adaptation and a fan of the book, I really enjoyed it, and I support some of the changes that Peter Jackson has made. Visually, the film is stunning. I was expecting nothing less from Jackson. New Zealand is so picturesque, and he really utilises that in the cinematography of the movie. As I said, the 3D was good, could have been utilised more. The performances were top-notch from anyone. There wasn't any weak performances, in my opinion. So it was all good. Well worth checking out. I would probably rate it 7-8 out of 10. Personally, and yes, I do agree with the critics who are saying it's a bit similar to Fellowship of the Ring, but in the same way, it's its own movie, so well worth checking out. I'm just going to quickly discuss some spoilers now, so if you haven't seen the movie, go and watch it and then come back here, and if you have seen the movie, carry on watching and see if you agree or disagree with anything I have to say. So characters who returned, we had Frodo and Ian Holm as old Bilbo, and that was a scene set just before the opening of Lord of the Rings. Now there's some people saying there's continuity errors there because Bilbo's well into writing his book in the beginning of Lord of the Rings, yet here, set just before it, he's only starting it. I think people have to just take things with a pinch of salt. Personally, I think it was a nice way to transpire back in time, and yet connect it up to Lord of the Rings as well. And, I thought Elijah Wood and Ian Holm both did a great job. There's many returning faces in the movie as well. Cate Blanchett as Galadriel, she's always amazing. I loved her as Galadriel, and I'm glad to have her back. Hugo Weaving as Elrond, again, good to have him back. But most importantly, it has to be Sir Christopher Lee. This man, I see in his 90s now. Is he that late 80s, early 90s? I think 90s. Yeah, he still gave a great performance as Saruman. Even though he wasn't in the books, it was good to have him in the Rivendell scene. And I was really impressed by it. I mentioned earlier about Azog. In this film now we have Thorin believed he'd killed Azog, and Azog coming back for revenge. But I think that really helped the film along. I can see some people saying this is filler, but I don't necessarily think it is. I think it makes more sense in helping to advance the plot. The Necromancer appeared. I thought that scene was excellent. Again, he's going to be played by Benedict Cumberbatch. I'm looking forward to seeing the Necromancer and Smaug as well in parts 2 and 3, and how they're going to do that. Riddles in the Dark was excellent, maybe a little tiny bit shorter than I expected, but Andy Serkis did a great job as Gollum, and I think the visual effects they've got going on now for Gollum, he looks even more realistic. And there's been a lot of dispute about Azog being CGI, whether that was the right call or not. I mean, the orcs did look great in Lord of the Rings, but the way Azog looked in this movie was very realistic, and I thought very well done. Again, they ended the movie kind of where I expected it to if it were two books, but I'm really not sure how they're going to carry on into two movies. But we shall see. I'm not going to go too much into spoilers, I don't think, because I do think the film stands for itself. As a Tolkien fan, I did enjoy it. So let me know what you thought of it in the comments. What was your favourite part of the movie? I loved the comedy in it. I thought there was a lot of comedy. For me, as I said, Martin Freeman, Richard Armitage, Sylvester McCoy, real standouts there. There was so much going on. Radagast, I think, was done brilliantly. What's your opinion on him? Is he the Jar Jar Binks of the movie or not? I want to hear all your thoughts. I'm very excited about this movie. It was very good. There was no. I didn't stay till after the credits, but I'm told there is no post-credit scene and no trailer for The Hobbit Part 2, The Desolation of Smaug. So yes, we shall look forward to that movie. If I hear anything, on a trailer being released or something like that, because obviously the film's been made, I will let you know. To make sure you never miss any movie news or reviews, be sure to subscribe. Please let me know what you thought of this movie. And I'll see you next time. Take care.